we've created an amazing group here and an amazing team of resources. Make sure you use the resources. Like, that's why you joined this amazing group, is that we have what you need to get to the next step.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Vacation Rental Revolution podcast and our Whiskey Wednesday segment with Mr. Dave Savulich. How's it going, brother?
Hey, buddy.
We're these as always, a reminder. I don't always remind people at front end. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Reminder: these are our short, sweet, to the point episodes where we're going to talk about a couple things going on in our world, some hot topics in the short-term rental world out there that you guys are dealing with, and then some questions that you guys send in. So as a reminder, post in the comments on whatever platform you're listening on, the questions you have, email it into support@vodacy.com, and we'll get those answered on an upcoming episode. So what do we got today?
You got a new shirt on today?
What's on the agenda? I got me a new shirt. It's summertime. I got the short sleeve shirts going on.
I don't think I've seen you in that. I like it.
It's good. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Good. So I got my Vodacy shirt.
You got your Vodacy shirt.
This is the second time I've worn this Whiskey Wednesday, but I like it. I like supporting company.
Representing Vodacy. I like it.
You know what I mean?
I like it.
Well, we're going to dive right in. Not a lot of fluff today. We're going to get right into
no fluff.
No fluff. No questions. Right. Nothing about Shawn Moore. And what we believe in and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, wait. I'm going to take the fluff today.
Okay, all right. Let's
this is
give us one.
Sort of my show.
Yeah,
I'll do the fluff today. So we just launched our 1%er club.
Nice.
A 1% club, which is a group of our members who are operating in the top 1% of their market. So whatever market they're operating in, revenue-wise, they're in the top 1%. So if there's less than 100 properties, they got to be the number one property in the market. If there's 200 properties, they got to be top 2. Mm-hmm. So they're operating at the very top level in whatever market. And the response has been, we knew there was a lot of them. It's been awesome, right?
Way more than I originally thought.
And so, one, it's a plug to our team now, in the process we built, and we've talked about this before, but this is, Vodacy is a real company, right? You're running a company, you're really running everything on the operations and the fulfillment side. And I don't say this very often, but I'm so proud of our team, right? Yeah. Our team, I kind of sound like an asshole when I say I don't say it. I hope you guys know I appreciate you. But
this is the first time he's ever said thank you to us.
Hey, that's why I'm doing it on podcast, so you guys can't say I don't say it.
I'll put this on auto play in my office. Yeah. Be like, thank you so much. Good job.
Yeah, but really, we've got a rock star group of team members helping people follow this process. And to have as many dozens of people that are qualifying for the 1% club, that's pretty amazing. Yeah. That's pretty crazy that you make money in the top 20% of every market. And that's a struggle for a lot of people even getting to 20%. When we've got a group of people operating in the top 1% of these markets, it's awesome. And it is in every one of them. How many of them say, hey, thank you so much. Yeah. Your team has been so awesome. And that's you guys. That's you guys that are really out there. You're talking to them every day. You're doing the things. We've got our acquisition manager. You're running operations. We've got our marketing side of it. We've got this group of coaches who do this stuff every day, right? Yeah. And that's why I think is critical. So, it's yesterday was when we launched it, and the amount of people that are qualified for it, it was really eye-opening to me of how amazing of a group we really do have.
Well, and I think it's pretty cool too, because we're going to have some fun events, and it's an exclusive group. They've worked really hard. They've followed the process. They've followed our blueprint, and they've put themselves in the top 1% because they've gone through and done exactly what they should do. And so it should be an exclusive group, and it should be a group that gets together and does some things. So we're going to do some really cool things. We're super excited about that. But I always... what you say, I believe, is so true. When I have onboarding calls with new members that are joined Vodacy, is I tell them, one of the things I always tell them is, hey, we've created an amazing group here and an amazing team of resources. Make sure you use the resources. That's why you joined this amazing group, is that we have what you need to get to the next step. And whether it's, the top 20, the top 10, the top 1, whatever that is, like go for it and do everything you can to get to that. And you're right, that's where the money's made. And so we're pretty excited about that. So
it's fun. And it's not you can't buy into it, right?
Right.
The cost of admission is performance. You have to be there, like you have to qualify, and you have to be willing to share your successes and help other people get there, right? That is how you qualify for the 1% club. And because there's a lot of, success leaves clues, and, we're all following the same process. We're part of the same group. We're doing the same things to reach the 1% club, but we're always iterating and changing to stay on top. Because if you don't, somebody else is going to knock you off, right? And so my goal is we're going to have these exclusive like workshops and meetings, and then share them with everybody else to say, hey, listen, these are the other things that are working. This is what we're doing right now. And when you have, dozens and dozens of people at this stage in markets all across the country, all across the world, we've got some in different countries that are operating at the top of those markets, sharing what it takes to get there and stay there. I mean, we can all raise the bar really quick. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Good. Yeah. I like to segue into that. I mean, that was good, dude.
Good, dude.
Way to switch it up.
And I said thanks for doing a good job. Don't tell me I don't tell you thanks.
Man, I'm going to have a good day today. All right. Let's jump into trending topic. As always, we do a lot of market research. We try to keep up on everything that's kind of going on. Obviously, we might miss things, but we feel like we're up on most of it. I want to talk through some of the stuff that Airbnb's done over the last year. They obviously work really hard to update features, update benefits, things like that for hosts, guests, things like that. So it's always good to know kind of what things they've come out with, new things that are features and benefits that help. Sometimes we don't always realize what they are. So I think sometimes it's good as you go through the platform. And so I'm just going to kind of go over a few of them. A couple of them that have come over the last year, and then there's a few that literally just come out this summer. But total price display with fees. So as guests are looking through the platform and they're looking at short-term rentals and places that they want to stay, sometimes it's always like, man, you get to the end and then there's always these other fees and it's way more than you thought it was. So they've implemented a more transparent way to see what the fees are. So as you're looking through there, you kind of get a true cost or a true price of short-term rentals. I think that's good. Another one is transparent checkout instructions. So a lot of times, you don't really pay too much attention to that. You book a property, you're excited, you stay, and then at the end there, they're like, by the way, you gotta do all these, unique or very maybe cumbersome things before you check out.
Right.
And so now they're saying, all right, listen, here's the checkout rule. So and you booked this property, you know these things before you actually stayed there. So don't be surprised when they say, you got to take the garbage down to the, downtown to dump it because we don't have garbage can or whatever the unique things are. So that was one. Improved maps is another one. Being able to see the local areas and being more transparent with the maps, and then lower fees for 3 months or more stays. So if you're booking for a week, you pay a certain fee. If you're booking for 3 months or more, you pay less of a fees. It makes sense. You're staying longer. You may not have to pay as many fees. So I think it's good. I think those are some of the things that they've come out with. The two that, and I think this is no surprise to most people, but AI is becoming a big part of business, not only in our world, but any world. But there's a couple things that they've come out with just recently. AI messaging. They're getting more user-friendly tools for guests and hosts to be able to communicate, and using AI to have these tools available as you communicate with your guests. And that's a big deal. And then also the last thing, and there's obviously more, but we just touched on a few, is AI is allowing you to make it more user-friendly to update photos within your some of the tours and things that you do, and using AI to help place those and things like that. So anyways, I always, what are your thoughts? Any of those that stick out that you're like, wow, that's pretty interesting?
No, I think
are those good?
Yeah, no, I think the first three are really all about setting expectations, right? And, having transparent pricing, total pricing on the front end, showing somebody what they're doing on the checkout, showing somebody where the location is, because location's a big deal.
Yeah.
Proximity is a big deal. And so really being able able to zoom in and dial in. One, it helps set expectations for the guests. You're going to have way less cancellations. So, all of that on the front end, the better the expectations are set, the less surprises there are, the fewer cancellations you're going to have. I think those are all really good things, right? And I think that the emphasis is by doing that and changing it, they're kind of forcing hosts to be able to set those expectations up front, but they're also training the guests to say, hey, listen, this stuff's available. I better check it out and look at it, right? And so, I think those are all great things. Set the expectations, know what you're walking into, especially when you set your date. You're not seeing the nightly rate price anymore. You're sending whatever date range. You're seeing the total price. And so you're not going to be able to slip in all those fees and look like I've got a $200 a night price and everybody else is $300 a night and kind of stand out that way and then load in a bunch of fees on the back end. Everybody's going to be on an equal playing field if you're seeing the total pricing, which I think is really good. That was something that came out a few updates ago, right? So those are all about setting expectations. When you talk about, giving a discount on the 3-month stays, Airbnb is saying, hey, listen, we're losing a lot of business to some of these midterm stays, right? There's a lot of markets across the country, specifically urban markets, where Airbnb really was built on. Airbnb was built in the urban markets originally. Well, a lot of them don't allow nightly rentals anymore. And so there's a lot of platforms and a lot of people that are pushing midterm rentals. And when you get your fees on Airbnb and those OTAs, they're like, man, that's a lot. Let's just pull you off of here and book direct. Airbnb is saying, hey, listen, rather than lose it, let's lower the fees and get a little bit of it, right? And so they're going to try to compete and in the midterm game. So I think it's a good move. I think that's a smart business move by them. And then the AI communication and messaging and tours, all that stuff is great. I mean, AI is here, and there's all these companies trying to make it easier for us as users, as hosts. The drawback is that I tell people is, don't get so locked into that your listing that you don't know how to optimize your listing. You don't know how to optimize communication, right? Communication is so critical. It's not key. It's absolutely critical. And so when you let AI communicate, sometimes it's just a little clunky, right? And so make sure you're still in there and making things personal. And like we talk about this, I'm like, hey, the more personalized our communication is, the better the better relationship you're going to build with your customer base. The other thing that they rolled out with the communication is they started allowing you to do group wish lists and group communication. So if you're traveling with a group, typically there's one person booking. And now you can share communication with a host. Other people can ask questions to the host. Everybody can see the cancellation policy. Everybody can see the check in and check out policy. What's going to be required of them, right? And so you get feedback, and you're able to communicate and keep that conversation. And it's smart for them. They want you to just have that conversation on their platform, so they're making it easier for you to do that with a group.
And I love that because most of the time, a lot of people travel with groups, other couples, other families, and they're like, well, hey, where are we staying, or where's the address, or where's it located, or what's around? And so if they're all included on that, that's a big deal. I saw that as well. I think that's a great idea.
It's a great idea. And if you're the person that's always tasked with booking it, and you're having to answer all those questions, tell all the people, what a pain in the butt. And so now you just form your travel group. Everybody can put on the places on their wish list that they would like to stay. When you do decide, they can see the communication, they can see the house rules, they can see everything. And I think that was a really good move. I think that's a really nice user interface move to make things, because man, what a pain for that person who's always booking the property, right? I mean, that's not the task you want.
So for funsies, I guess that's the new term.
Funsies?
Kind of fun.
Oh, shit. That's why you drink Diet Coke or Coke Zero.
Okay, for fun. So for fun.
For
And checkout responsibilities. I don't know if I've ever had any real crazy. I mean, they say take the sheets and towels off, put them on the floor. Or I guess maybe I've had somebody say throw them in the wash before you leave. Or obviously do the dishwasher, take the garbage out. What have you had any crazy ones?
No, I haven't had any crazy ones. I've had properties where I've stayed at, they don't have garbage service, and they ask you to take it to the dumps. I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. I have 2 properties that don't have garbage service, and we pay the cleaners to take the garbage to the dumps. And so I think that's out of line. I don't like it as a customer. One of them was a cabin that we had to drive probably 15 miles to the dumps. I mean, that's a long trek.
Yeah.
And it wasn't on the way home, and so that was kind of a pain. That was the one that I was always the most upset about. I've had them asked to do dishes and stuff. I just don't. I don't like any of that. I'm a fan, and I think this was getting out of hand for a lot of properties. In fact, Brian Chesky, if I remember right, about a year and a half ago, addressed this. And it's like, if you're a host, you can't be, understand what's kosher and what's not kosher to ask people to do, right? And so, and it's there's sometimes you get this laundry list of things that you have to do and to check out, and it's just to me it's too much. I want somebody to just be like, hey, I had a great time. We're going to leave, and we take care of it when they're done. Right. So we're a little bit on the opposite end. I don't mind if somebody says, take the sheets off the beds or whatever.
Yeah, throw them in the corner.
If you don't mind to just pull them off and throw them in the corner or whatever. I don't mind that. I still don't even ask our guests to do that. Right. But as a guest, I don't mind doing some of those things.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we got one really good question today. Laura. She asked, do you like going all in on a theme versus keeping it more generic for the short-term rental? So as you're creating this experience, do you go all in on the experience? So that's everything is about that experience, or do you try to maybe go a little bit more generic?
Yeah, this is a good question. Laura brought this up on one of our Q&A calls. So she went even a little deeper on the question because she was buying in Columbus, Ohio. So the backstory is she's buying in Columbus. She got advice from her realtor, her management partner, and a designer that all said, I don't know if you want to lean all into the Ohio State theme. And they were kind of leaning into that theme of Ohio State. They said, Columbus is a big city. A lot of college towns aren't as big. And, so there's a lot of people who come to Columbus for a lot of different reasons, not just Ohio State. So her question was, what do you think about that? They might have a point, and, maybe I should keep it more neutral, really, really beautiful design. Right. And my answer was absolutely I would lean into a theme. I don't buy into the fact that you should try to blend in and accommodate everybody. The best marketing attracts the right people and it repels the wrong people, right? Mm-hmm. Good marketing is going to repel people, right? You are going to get people that say, I don't want to stay there. The Michigan fans coming into Ohio State are not going to stay in her property. And that's okay. But the other people that love Ohio State, or maybe they're neutral to Ohio State and they're coming to Columbus from out of town. I'm from Utah. I'm not an Ohio State fan. I would choose that property over a model home any day of the week because it's part of the local atmosphere. It's part of what's going on in Columbus. It's part of that is Columbus, right? So I would love to be a part of that experience. And even though I'm not necessarily a huge fan, and but Ohio State's a massive. I mean, that's a massive university. It is a massive brand when it comes to sports and university brands. It's huge, right? It's one of the top, and so you're leaning into something that has a wide appeal still. And I was trying to explain to her, the management partner, the designer, the realtor, they're all right that model home that you're going to create and design is not going to repel anybody. Nobody's going to look at that model home and say, I don't want to stay there, Laura. That is not my style of house. They're going to say, man, it's a beautiful house. But what they're also going to say, nobody's going to say, I have to stay there because they're going to see 30 other beautiful houses that look the same way, right? And they're going to so now you're just blending in with other really nice houses,
and you're just trying to compete more on price too.
Yeah. Now all of a sudden, because you're not standing out with what you have to offer, now the only way you can stand out is price, right? So you have to stand out somewhere, and if it's not the property, then it's going to be price, right? And so you're not going to repel anybody. Nobody's going to say, I hate that house, but you're not going to attract anybody either. Right. And they're not going to be like, man, I love that shade of gray instead of the shade of gray Dave has. Right. And so, and that's where I think the biggest mistake is. And it's coming from professionals that are giving that advice as well. And I don't agree with it. Yeah. You should lean into your target audience, the theme that you want to create, and create that experience. And it's okay if somebody says, I don't like that. I don't want to stay there, because there's going to be enough people that do say they want to stay there, because the person that's attractive to, now every other model home in that market is basically invisible to them.
Right.
That they're not even considering them. Where you're only considering this home that's so unique. The more unique you can be, the better the experience is. The more unique of an experience you can create for a target audience, the more you're going to attract people that say, I want that and I don't want anything else. Mm-hmm. And sure, you can have people say, yeah, I don't want that. That's fine, right? Because there's enough of them that will say yes. You're not trying to get thousands of people through your home in a year. That's what you have to remember. Columbus is a massive destination where a lot of people are coming in. You got millions of people coming in. You're getting a fraction of those people. You don't think a fraction of them are going to like the Ohio State
want
team?
To stay there.
Yeah, and want to stay there. So especially if it's done well.
Yeah.
And so 100% disagree with the advice of you want to be more neutral. You want to be more appealing to a wider audience. And I totally disagree with that. You want to appeal to a narrower audience because you're going to stand out more in those crowded markets.
So hopefully, Laura, that helps. Share your listing. We want to see it. We want to see what you did.
Yeah, for sure.
The experience you created, and I think if you're going to go all in, go all in on it. Take a chance and go for it. So
I mean, we talked last week about or did we talk this week about? When did we talk about our 1% club? Was that last week or this week?
This week.
That was today?
That was a few minutes ago.
That was a few minutes ago.
I mean, I don't know.
Hey, listen, I can't remember
I'm still thinking about last week when you, actually it was this week when you thanked us for being
that was this week.
Good workers.
I feel like that was a long time ago. I feel like that was a long time ago too. But that's what, we have a lot of those 1%ers that are in college towns.
Right.
They put together these amazing experiences
awesome.
around a college, the college theme and brand, and pretty cool.
And I probably would say if you just having a generic home, most likely probably is not going to get you in the 1%. You know what I mean? Yeah. It may depend on this, but I don't know that
we have any of them.
I would say no. I mean, I bet you look at every one of those great, amazing properties, and they're all themed out. The experience is just dialed in. So. Cool.
For sure.
Hey, buddy. This was a great episode. So good job today.
All right, man. We'll wrap it up. So, guys, we always appreciate your time and how valuable it is. I always thank you at the end of every episode, and I appreciate it. It does mean a lot to us. The two favors I always ask you is to share the show with anybody else that you think would be interested in these conversations, walking in the short-term rental game with their eyes wide open. That's our goal here at Vodacy. And so share the show, like it, review it, give us a thumbs up on whatever platform you're watching or listening on. If you have questions, put those questions in the comments, and we'll make sure that we get to them and answer them on an upcoming episode. And the final, most important thing that I ask you every single week as a favor is to go pick that one thing you could do today to start building that life you don't want to take a vacation from. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.